Good evening, everyone. Hope y'all are doing well. It is an absolutely gorgeous day here. Before I decided to do this video, I had the window down, blowing through my hair, because it's just gorgeous. I mean, it's very breezy, but man, puffy clouds, blue sky. Looks like it's kind of clouding up a little bit now, but yeah, like I said, it's very breezy, but it felt good, having the window down, cruising along and so forth. Because I don't know, as long as you don't care what your hair looks like, which I kind of don't for the most part. That's what hats are for, and I'm just glad I have it. I'm just glad I have hair, because I remember I gotta lighten things up before I hit you guys, okay? I gotta laugh a little bit before I hit you with some stuff. Right? I remember when I was in boot camp, they shave your head practically bald. They call it a close shave, but it's more like a Walter White shave if people get the reference. But anyway, it's a close shave, all right? And man, when they shaved my head, I got mocked horribly, because they take the picture of you for your military ID, with your head shaved, looking like a cue ball, right? Looking like a chia pet. But anyway, they shave your head, and I got mocked horribly when I was in, actually after I got out of boot camp, and after I got out of Corps School, I went to Field Medical Service School, and we had a Marine instructor and a Navy Corpsman instructor. The Navy Corpsman instructor was brutal, man. He said to me, he goes, "Man, it looks like a mugshot," when he looked at my ID. And he goes, you look like Nosferatu. So the guy started calling me Nosferatu. I couldn't argue, man. I was like, big old pointed ears sticking out with a shaved head. I did look like Nosferatu. Anyway, so I'm just glad I have hair at this point. And like I said, if you don't like what your hair looks like, or you don't have hair, that's what hats are for, right? So anyway, I wear those a lot too now. But I gotta lighten this thing up, man, because this particular drive-in talk, can't really call them videos because you don't see anything but black screen for the most part, but more like a podcast drive-in talk kind of thing. But this particular one, this is insane, folks. I should call this insane news. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but insane news sounds good. Insane, all right? Stuff you probably don't know, or maybe you do know. I don't know, but I put quite a few things on the post. I posted quite a few articles and so forth. I'm subscribed to several different Substacks, and so I share a lot of this stuff from the Substacks. And man, okay, this is the one that really got my attention. $2 trillion have vanished, poof, into thin air. And since there's no accountability ever, it's gone. Greg Marino is reporting on it right now. I mean, people want to listen to it, or was anyway. It's gone, poof. It's like, how's $2 trillion missing? I don't know, but it is. So anyway, it's like, okay. And then Michael Snyder reporting on how the Great Depression housing crisis is getting even worse. 6 reasons on his Substack, and it's like, yep. And then what's his name? Jeremiah Babe, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Babe. I'm not exactly sure. Never heard his last name actually pronounced. But he lives in the Palm Springs, California area, and he was saying that people are renting out pods or storages or things of that nature so they can live, because people can't afford to live. They can't afford rent. They can't afford their mortgage. They can't afford utilities. They can't afford to live. So they're renting out pods or storage spaces, like where you would store furniture or extra things that you can't fit in your apartment or your house or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, wow. And this is America. So we got $2 trillion missing. We got a depression housing market crisis. And we've got people living in pods or storages. All right. I guess that's all part of MAGA, right? Making America great again. Yeah, making people poor person poor, one poor person at a time. I mean, this is insanity, right? So this is what's happening, right? And then you have MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, which, according to some things I've shared from the Substacks and so forth, people doing the research and investigation on these things, it's more like a eugenics agenda more than anything else. People can research that for themselves. They can look it up for themselves. I'm not here to convince anybody anything or argue or whatever. I'm just telling you what's out there, okay? What I'm sharing and what I'm reading and what's being sent to me and whatnot. Insane news. Just absolutely insane. So when people, they're not feeling the crunch yet, for the most part, in the grocery stores and, in the, with things they're ordering online. There's still food on the shelves. Prices are increasing, yes. But I'm sure people are like, well, what happened? We're almost done with May. Memorial Day weekend's coming up, and, we still got food on the shelves, and, and everything's still okay. Yeah, there's some prices that are going up, but that's about it. Well, I've heard that June 1st is actually the target date. That's what some people have reported on. That's when people are going to start feeling the crunch a little bit. You're going to start noticing some things some more, would be June 1st. I guess we'll see. But I will tell you this, again, Gregory Mannarino, whether people like him, don't like him, agree with him, don't agree with him, whatever, he was spot on this one. He missed it by one day. If anybody saw what happened in the markets yesterday, it was a bloodbath. I don't know about today. I didn't check. Don't really care. As long as I can pay my bills and, have enough money to, live and, like I said, pay the bills. And my lovely wife's birthday's coming up and, have some money to treat her, and so forth, and not be one of these loser husbands that forget your wife's birthday. I don't really care about what's going on in the market for the most part. But other people do, and I understand why, because it can be an indicator of certain things, right? Well, he called it. He called it a week ago. He said it was actually going to happen today, but it actually hit yesterday, where he said there's going to be some trouble in the markets, and the bond market's going to start going down. He called it. He nailed it. He was a day off. So people say, oh, he didn't really get it right because it was said today. Well, whatever. It happened yesterday. Bottom line is, it's happening. So bond market, stock market, not yet, but, it's a matter of time. So by the middle of the summer, I guess, in the dog days of summer, the heat of the summer, I think that's when people are going to start really feeling the crunch on things and noticing things a lot more, as far as empty store shelves and, prices going way up, things not available, whatever the case may be. So, for the people that said, oh, it's not happening, everything's fine, and it's going to be a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and, okay, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on where you live. The weather's still going to be really, really bad in certain areas. Other areas, it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be beautiful. But, Memorial Day weekend, and, I'll share some things as we come closer to the post. I'm not going to do a video or anything on it, but, it's not about what people make it about, as we know, but whatever. Americans love to party. They love to celebrate. They love to barbecue and picnic and whatever else. That's just what they're going to do. So, but that's not what it's about. It really isn't, hence the word memorial, so it's about remembrance, but not trying to bring everybody down, before their 3-day weekend or whatever, but I'm just saying, that's really not what it's about. But, more insane news. In San Diego, there was a really bad plane crash earlier, I guess, this morning. Two people were killed, unfortunately. 8 were injured. And then my friend John, I have a friend in John P. in North Carolina and John S. in San Diego. He, excuse me, I gotta sneeze, I think. Maybe not. Hold on. Yep, sorry about that, excuse me. Anyway, he emails me and he tells me he lives about 2 miles from where that occurred. I was like, dude, 2 miles? That's close. He goes, yeah, it was really close. It's very close to the Marine Corps Air Station Miramar. So people aren't familiar with that plane crash. I was like, wow, that's pretty bad. And then Dabu 777 reported on some incident at Langley. the CIA headquarters or what have you, at the, I guess at the gate there or something. I was like, man, what's going on here? And then it dawned on me. I was watching a show, and the house number is actually 322. And then it dawned on me, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Today's May 22nd. It's a 322 day. It was like, no, what are you talking about? It's 522. Well, if you look at the elite calendar, or the occult calendar, or whatever else, it's 322 because their year starts in March. So this is the third month of the year. So it's a 322 day. So when you have this craziness going on, I'm thinking to myself, maybe one thing has to do with another. Maybe not. But it's a 322 day. So I'm like, okay, we got plane crashes. We got stuff going on at Langley. You had the unfortunate shooting, horrible shooting last night in D.C. outside the Jewish Museum or whatever. You know, people say, oh, false flags. Probably can't say that anymore, but, you know, crisis actors, all set up, this and that. Yeah, whatever, maybe. But people do die. People do get injured. Horrible things happen. And there are, you know, events that occur that are just tragic. So, more insane news, right? So, anyway, I just want to throw these things out there. I'm going to keep this short, you know. I really am, because I got things to do. But I just wanted to go ahead and put this one out there that, you know, set on a swivel. You got a 3-day weekend coming up. Anything and everything can happen. Hopefully everything will be cool. Who knows for sure. Lots of reports of, you know, continuous wars, rumors of wars, no peace talks, economy, you know, teetering, you know, on the brink of collapse still, you know, all these things. Anything can kind of, you know, pop off at any time, it seems like. The rumor is that Israel may attack Iran this weekend. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. You know, then you got in June, you know, getting back to June 1st is the target date. I guess there's going to be a BRICS meeting. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, you know, those, and a bunch of other countries, you know, that want to take down the dollar, destroy the world reserve currency, blah, blah, blah. Same old, same old. Then you got the Bilderberg meeting in June. And then you got the sodomite, you know, reprobate parades. We got to deal with all that garbage again. The Liga Bitaqua, you know, the rainbow flag garbage again. You know, that's June for you. So June 1st as a target date makes kind of sense to me, but we'll see. It might be a little later down the road. I don't know, but there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of happenings. So I guess we'll just see what the rest of the weekend brings, you know. I know it's only Thursday now, but technically I guess people are going to be traveling everywhere. Oh yeah, one more thing about that. The Real ID thing. I don't know if people have it, don't have it, whatever the case may be. But I saw a video, I shared it earlier, where people that don't have Real ID are actually being treated like criminals. So if you're going to travel and you don't have Real ID, if you're going to fly or whatever, you might want to get to the airport like way, way in advance. Because they pull them out of line, they give them like this red pamphlet, basically telling them they have to get the Real ID, you know. Then they point them out, and then they swab their hands, they swab their phone. At least that's what happened to this one lady. And I'm just like, wow, this reminds me of the time that my family and I, years and years ago, back like 2004, I think, we're flying. Kids are very young at the time. And I was a police officer then. And I even showed them my badge. And there was some problem with our ticket or something of that nature. And my family, my wife and I, we got treated like we were criminals. And like I said, I was a police officer at the time. That's when I realized membership doesn't have its privileges. Okay? So they probably thought I was going to take my badge and stab somebody in the neck with it or whatever. I'm surprised they didn't confiscate my badge or something. But yeah, I mean, and they still treated us like criminals. Where we're over there in the corner, you know, and they're using the metal detector wand and everything, wanting my wife, wanting me. I'm just like, what in the world? Oh, you've been chosen for random screening. I'm like, are you serious? You know? So, just giving y'all a heads up. If you're going to travel by plane this weekend, or you know somebody who is, and they don't have Real ID, man, they could get harassed. They could get pointed out. They could be picked out of the line, random screened, whatever else, treated like a criminal. Surprised they don't fingerprint them or whatever on site. But anyway, I mean, just crazy. Insane news, craziness. So just be aware, be ready for that in case you wind up getting picked out of the line because you don't have Real ID. So people might want to show up at the airport really, really early. So Anyway, I think that's about it. So I just wanted to throw those things out there. Check out my post if you want. I'm sharing a lot of things from Substacks, a lot of crazy news, insane news, stuff that you may not find anywhere else unless you're subscribed to the same things I am, or you get sent the same things I do. You're probably not going to get this news from a lot of other sources or people. Maybe you will. I guess it depends on who you listen to, but I don't know. It's pretty insane stuff. I'll look at more when I get a chance, but I got to go for now. So y'all take care. Be blessed. Have a good evening. If I don't talk to you tomorrow, be safe this weekend. I guess we'll just see what happens. Yeah, it looks like a storm's actually coming in now. So I'm bragging about the beautiful weather. Now it looks like we're gonna have a storm, but that's all right. Lord's will be done. He knows what he's doing. I enjoyed the sunshine and the cool breeze and the beautiful blue sky and the puffy clouds for most of the day. All right, y'all take care. Have a good one. Bye-bye.